So can this phone, the Oppo Find X8 Pro, replace my professional video camera, the Sony FX3? We're gonna review it and test it out today in this beautiful Railay beach in the province of Krabi, Thailand. Good morning guys, welcome to a new video. Lately I have reviewed in terms of photography the Oppo smartphone Find X8 Pro. Today we're gonna check it out in terms of video making. So stay tuned, we're gonna see beautiful places. Check the cards up here for the video in terms of photography for the Oppo Find X8 Pro, too many names. And also check the links in the description to actually purchase your phone. By the way, right now you are hearing me through the phone and also you are seeing me through the wide camera of the phone. We're gonna talk about all those lenses right there. Right people, new temple here in Ayutthaya. This was one of the locations of the film we talked about in the other video, filmed in 1989 with Jean-Claude Van Damme, the kickboxer. I'm looking for the location where they filmed it because that was my favorite film when I was a kid. And I think this is one of the locations. I cannot find the right focal range, focal length they used for the film, but more or less this is the place right here. Anyway, let's forget about Van Damme for a second, but I'm so excited to be here. I love the 80s, I love my childhood. So we got 5 cameras on the phone. Each camera has a sensor as well. I talked about the sensor size and everything in the previous video about the photography of this phone. So if you want to know more about that, go and check it out. We're gonna cover here the lenses quickly. So I'm gonna turn around, choose a subject and show you the 4 main lenses preview. So that's what you can get with these lenses. I'm not gonna talk much about the selfie camera. It's something I'm not interested, but that's a 32 megapixel sensor in case you want to know. Shall we talk about lenses in this beautiful garden of the Royal Project in Chiang Mai? We have a wide lens, 50 millimeters. Then we have a 23 millimeters lens, which is the main camera of the phone with a wider aperture. Then we switch to an optical zoom of the main camera again, equals to 48 millimeters, more or less. Then we go to the bigger zooms. We have a 73 millimeters and the 135 millimeters. So I've got my subject here, the 3 giant pagoda still in Ayutthaya. We got the 0.6x, that's equivalent of 15 millimeters more or less. And this is what we get. Then we switch to the main camera and we got a 23 millimeters. Then we go to 3x, that's a 73 millimeters. Wow, look at the birds. And then we switch to 6x, that's 135 millimeters more or less. As we talked about the lenses also, I want to mention the stabilization. So each lens will have IBIS, so built-in stabilization. I'm actually using it right now. So this is how the video looks by default, but we also have an extra steady kind of mode, and that applies a bit of crop on each lens, and I'm going to show you the difference right here, and I keep walking. Ultra steady mode is on right now. You see any difference? I mean, I checked some of the videos previously following also my brother, and it looks really, really good to me. This place again, amazing. Okay, it is 2x in terms of zoom, in terms of lens, with the ultra steady shot on. And I'm just walking. As we walk along the streets of Chiang Mai, I want to talk about resolutions and frame rates of the Find X8 Pro. By the way, I'm vlogging in the street with the phone in my hand, which is something I couldn't do in London anymore because someone will snatch it off my hand. I love Asia. And actually today I forgot my Sony FX3 in a restaurant. I just left because I have too many things in my hands. So I called the restaurants, the camera was still there, and they sent it to me in Chiang Mai. Just to mention, yeah, how the cultures work here. Anyway, that's a story for a different vlog. Resolutions and frame rates. We can film at 720p in terms of resolution, at 30 frames per second. I'm talking about the normal video mode. Then we can film it 1080p, so full HD, at 30 frames per second and 60 frames per second. And we can do the same in 4K, 30 frames per second and 60. Then we have a designated slow motion mode through which we can record a 720p resolution at 240 and 480 FPS. Now the resolution is pretty bad, of course, but you have the options in case of very fast action. And also we can record at 1080p at 240 frames per second. Also to keep in mind, when you film with the normal video mode, you can film through all the lenses we've got. When you film in 240 frames per second, you can only film with a wide angle camera and the main camera, so 50 millimeters and 23 millimeters. When you're filming at 480 FPS, you can only film with the main camera of your phone, which is the 23 millimeters. Right, check this out, quick update about the camera. I just went to the office of this operator and they returned my camera there, and they took a photo of me with the camera just to prove they returned it to me. So where does that happen in the world? I love Thailand. Thank you for the sweet trip. In terms of exposure, so we can actually control in the video mode, while using the video mode, the f-stops. But it creates a very digital and artificial effect, as the iPhone is creating as well. So the shallow depth of field doesn't look real. So I would avoid working with that. But also we have an EV option, and it goes from -2 to 2. So we can change the exposure with that as well, making your image a bit darker or brighter. But again, we can't control the shutter speed or the ISO, any of those details. So f-stops go from f1.4 all the way to f16. Also, the aperture can be controlled only in 1080p in terms of resolution, so full HD at 30 frames per second. So have a look at my resolution now and frame rate. It's 4K 60 frames per second. As soon as I press the f-stop button, it switches to 1080p 30 FPS. Alright guys, so we are at the Royal Palace here in Bangkok. I'm gonna put something in front of the lens here to create some depth of field. We're gonna go to f1.4, which is the maximum aperture of this phone. We're gonna lock the focus there and see what's happening here around the edges of the tree. It's very digital, and it's also, yeah, trying to create the f1.4 kind of effect. Yeah, there you go. And you see it especially in this other clip I filmed. Also, it's not really locking the focus for some reason, even though I do. That's pretty auto actually. It's much more natural, and also the focus is locked now. So yeah, there's something wrong with the focus lock when you are changing the aperture manually. Again, because I think it's very digital. As we were talking about the aperture, which is quite digital, of course, remember this, look at the thickness of the phone, right? So it's impossible physically to fit the elements of glass to reach that aperture and the depth of field. So it's all made digitally. Right, guys, we are in Chiang Mai tonight. I wanted to talk about the videography performance in low light conditions. So basically, I've been testing the phone tonight, and what I can see, there's not much noise in the image, which is great, but the autofocus is struggling a little bit, yeah, in the darkness. Guys, I was noticing the darkness of the lenses, so all the lenses are pretty dark except for the main camera, which is the 23 millimeters, but the wide angle and the zoom lenses, yes, they struggle also because the aperture is different, okay? And still, I'm recording through the microphone of the phone, so you can give me some feedback on that. But as a safety net, I'm also recording on the GoPro and an external microphone. Right, guys, so let's check the lens. If you've got 15 millimeters right there, and see what happens when I check the main camera. It's a bit brighter. Then we got to 3x zoom. We go here. It's a bit darker and even darker there. Great feature, I think, also when traveling. And that's why I'm loving this phone, because you've got a lot of options, is the macro feature. So when you go to the wide shot of 50 millimeters and you go very close to something, the camera will switch to macro. Look how close I can get. That's a video. I'm probably 2 centimeters away. Isn't that crazy? We are in Chiang Mai. I think that's the purple pagoda. At least it is purple. The phone can record in HDR, which is high dynamic range. And with this option, you should be able to gather more data, more information in terms of highlights and shadows, which you can get back in post-production. And I checked some of the footage I recorded last night, and actually the dynamic range is pretty good, even though when you import your files into an editing software, it will look burned a little bit in the highlights, but you can retrieve again those information back with the software. So don't worry about it. It should be fine. When you record in HDR, you should be able to record in 10 bit. That's the bit rate some of the bigger cameras are using as well, including this Sony FX3. Also, to make the vlog and the review a bit more interesting today, I'm gonna compare some B-roll filmed with the Oppo Find X8 Pro with the Sony FX3, which is a professional, let's call it cinema camera, but definitely should be better quality. Let's see if you spot the difference. I'm gonna put which camera filmed which clip down here as well. So, conclusion of this video is the Find X8 Pro going to replace my Sony FX3? Well, not yet. As a professional video maker, I'm missing some features on the phone that allow me to take the shots I really want. In particular, some manual settings. For example, the exposure. I have no control on the exposure, so I'm definitely missing something to control the shutter speed and the motion blur. So literally there's no motion blur in most of my clips because I'm missing also a filter and the filter. Talking about manual settings, also there's no temperature control, so I can't really change that, and the temperature changes according to the light. That's something I want to take control of. Depth of field, as we can't really change the exposure, the iris and the aperture, then I can't control the depth of field, so I can't really create the shallow depth of field and bokeh we want in a professional camera. What I'm missing also is a flat profile, so that's something that would really help me in adjusting the color and the grading in post-production. Overall, the colors from the phone are really good. Saturated skin tone is nice. From the phone, actually, it looks quite kind of natural. Audio-wise, I think the phone has an internal microphone, omnidirectional microphone, which is very clear, pretty good, but it might pick up noises you don't want. For example, we were on the beach right now. There's a lot of boats and you might hear those quite loud. Still, it's manageable. It's, again, for vlogging, great. You don't need anything else. As mentioned before, I tried with an adapter to connect an external microphone and it didn't work. I changed the adapter, still didn't work, and I changed the microphone as well. There's no chance for me to use an external microphone, even though on paper it says you can. So there might be some settings in the phone, I'm not sure. Now, last thing I want to talk about, it's the stabilization. Internal stabilization is great, right? So even the iPhones was really good. This is great. As you can see, I'm walking and I checked some of the videos and they were perfectly fine. It seems to have a gimbal. So again, if you don't want to carry anything else, anything you need is right here in this phone. Overall, I think it's a great option for travel vloggers that don't want to carry a professional camera, as I do all the time. And today I was actually thinking to leave my camera behind, but for some reasons I can't do that yet. Also, I have reviewed the phone under the photography point of view, and you can check it right here or in the description tab. I hope the video helped out. Marty behind the camera, as always. We say bye from this beautiful place. Stay tuned. Another phone is coming on the channel very soon. So subscribe and we'll see you soon. Take care.